We
are
cultivate.
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 We are cultivate.
Hello and welcome to a special mini-sode of Ye Olde Crime, the show where Maddie and I discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear every Wednesday. This special bi-weekly segment is called Can You Crack the Cramp-Word, which is slang for a difficult or obscure term, which I thought was very fitting. And joining me today is Bob from the Static Radio podcast. And before we begin, I'd like to give him a chance to tell us a little more about himself and his show before we get started. Welcome.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me. Now I gotta crack this thing here. We're gonna cracking on this. So yeah, my name's Bob with Static Radio, staticradio.com. The funny thing is you said every Wednesday, and we have our show is always released every Wednesday if I get around to it.
Nice.
It's funny. So it's like it's both both have weekly shows. Isn't that funny? And also on a Wednesday. Did you come up with Wednesday for a reason?
I just thought, like a midweek type of thing. And, that's just kind of stuck.
Oh, well, see, unfortunately, I did Wednesday because I was really lazy and we record over the weekend and I just don't get around to it till Wednesday.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what I do too. Like we record on the weekends and then I'm like frantically editing on like Monday, possibly late into Tuesday evening. Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't set a date, then I just won't do it. So this way by Wednesday, I told everybody.
Yep.
So I guess I got to do that. But if people want to listen, which they, don't feel compelled, it's okay if you don't. I'm not going to hold it against anybody out there. But if you do feel like listening, we tell funny stories each week. And typically those stories pertain, it's myself. I have a co-host, kind of like yourself. Mm-hmm. And we tell funny stories about stuff that's happened to us. And hopefully you enjoy it. It's kind of a diversion for the week. Yeah. But it's not about crime. Well, maybe a crime's against me, but people commit crimes against me sometimes.
Crimes against humanity.
Yeah, but other than that, it's, not too crimey. So you got that going.
So that's actually a great segue to my first question, which is, you mentioned your co-host, Miles.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you actually knew who he was. I wasn't even going to mention his name.
Yeah. Can you tell us kind of about how the two of you met and came up with the idea of doing the show?
Oh, very good question, I must say.
Thank you.
It's like you're professional. We actually went to college together, and in college we did a show, oddly enough, called Static. And then once we graduated from college, I said, hey, why don't we just continue doing this? And so then we came up with doing it after college. So we had done a radio, kind of like a traditional student kind of show where you play songs and then we would talk in between. But we just cut out all that song business and just do the talking, because we always would just tell each other kind of funny things that happened during the day. Mm-hmm. And that's really where the idea for the show came from, was just an extension from that. And so we've been doing it ever since. It sounds very simple. Apparently it is. I never really thought about it too much.
But it is cool that you started it in school and you are still doing it. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was because we don't live near each other. I don't know if your co-host lives near you, but we don't live near each other. And it's just kind of a way to stay in touch, and we have fun kind of, cracking each other up. And so that was an extension of all that, because we went, into our quote unquote professional lives.
Yes.
And we still get to do something fun that reminds us of, the carefree days of college.
Before adulthood really kind of sunk its teeth and its claws into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you had to pay back your student loans when you're just accruing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh gosh, now you expect payment? This is a bad
I have to pay
system."
you for this?
What's Yeah, who ever thought of that? Gosh.
No one told me that.
Yeah, I don't think Socrates was out there hustling people for money whenever he was teaching people, so.
Yeah. That's gonna be 10,000 shekels.
Yeah, shekels or salt or where's my salt cube that you owe me? I don't know what they paid back in those days. I'm guessing
Table
palm
salt.
fronds. Get some palm fronds.
Maybe some nice fabrics. I don't know.
Yeah. Plato, you owe me. Socrates, here, I can give you a beverage.
Yeah.
Oh,
I made
no
some nice
thanks.
mead. You can have some mead, whatever they drank back then. Wine. It was
Yeah.
all wine because they couldn't drink
All
the water.
wine.
It
Yeah.
would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wine, mead, yeah, whatever. Hemlock,
Whatever.
whatever works.
Here's some sleepy time stuff. It's fine.
That's
You
right.
know, take a rest.
It's a sleepy time tea for you, Socrates. I'm going
Exactly.
to get out of this loan, whether you like it or not.
Here's some ye old sleepy time tea. And
Oh, I was going to ask you. You just said it. So you don't sound out the e. You don't say ye olde.
nope,
Nope, just old. Okay, just
just
checking.
old. Yep. Kind of as you said, you've been doing the show weekly for 25 years, like before the big podcast craze that kind of started in the
Right.
mid to
Yeah.
late aughts,
Mm-hmm.
later aughts probably. So, what have you
2004.
learned?
I remember.
Yeah.
What have I learned? I learned
What
that
have
I
you
should have
learned in
probably
like eking into podcasting?
I learned that I should have coined the term. Apparently, I mean, we were doing stuff we should have come up with it. I don't know why these other people did, and yeah, and I should have buddied up with Adam Curry a little bit more. I think
There you go.
during that
Yeah.
time period because I had his email. I actually emailed him. I talked to the guy anyway. Hindsight's 2020, as they say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I do talk about this oddly enough. I think that this is the third wave of podcasting. So the
Mhm.
first wave was Adam Curry and Dave Weiner, who, by the way, Dave did a lot of the work on podcasting, and Adam was marketing. And then in 2011 there was another big push, and then 2020
Yes.
the pandemic was really a great brainwashing experiment. I don't know if people realize this, but it was. If you think, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of key examples, podcasting being one of them.
Okay.
So in 2020, everything, happened, and a
Mhm.
lot of people went and started doing podcasts. Podcasts have been around at that point for a good 16 years.
Mhm.
And so it was out there, right? But
Mhm.
people weren't paying attention. Pandemic happens. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, yeah, podcast. I know all about that podcast. Meanwhile, a year before that, maybe like 10 people knew about things and were doing things. Same thing with like Zoom and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I, work in a office kind of thing. I've done Skype. I've done Oomla or whatever it's called. I mean, all these other various platforms where you could do video conferencing. Unfortunately, you can't show my video tonight, which kind of tells you something. But the funny thing was, then as soon as and they would all come to me for help, and then as soon as the pandemic, oh yeah, Bob, you need some help with that because I'm an expert on Zoom.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, everybody's an expert. Same thing with
Yep.
podcasting. Everybody's an expert.
Yep.
And the celebrities just came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
I read Ted Danson has a podcast. That guy is ancient. He can't be doing anything. He's not running a computer. He doesn't even know how.
No, I think that's one of those things where he just shows up and talks into a mic, and then he's got like a team of people that are producing it and all that fun stuff. But yeah,
That's my guess.
like the number of celebrity podcasts that have come out since the pandemic
Mhm.
is astronomical. Like
It's
everyone.
crazy. It's like
Yeah.
they finally figured out they have a lot of downtime and they're gonna do something with it. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what's changed a lot.
And I feel like more came out, like, during the writer's strike too, because they weren't
Sure.
working, and so
Right,
they're like,
correct.
"Well, what am I gonna do? Oh, I can just talk into a
Yeah.
microphone
Oh,
and someone's
I
gonna
can
listen to me."
podcast? They
Yeah.
probably had some geeky cousin. "Ted, I could set you up with this podcast." "Oh, well, okay, I'm not doing anything. There's a writer's strike.
Yeah.
Can I"
"You
you know?
finally have time.
It's right. I guess. "Why you
You pulled
bothering
my
me,
leg.
kid?"
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright."
I'm only a bazillionaire. I can't be bothered with these things.
It's like their
But
nephew or
that's what's
something.
happened, yeah. Yeah, some kinda, yeah, geeky nephew or something. I'll give him a job. He can do my podcast."
Yeah.
"Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Uncle Ted."
"Thanks, Uncle Ted. I appreciate you.
Right.
I'm not gonna pay you, but, you know,
Of course not.
I'm doing you the favor."
That's right. I'm Ted Danson. I don't pay people. People pay me, right?
This can just go on your resume. That's how I'm paying
That's
you,
right.
is
That's
an
right. Yeah, I'm
experience.
helping you. Right. I'm helping you with the experience of a lifetime, son.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Someday you'll thank me. Yeah.
You'll be a producer of Ted Danson's podcast.
How many 15-year-olds can say that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All of them? I don't know.
Every single one.
Well, except for the Ted Danson part.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them
I
can, I
think
think.
if I asked my soon-to-be 16-year-old if she knew who Ted Danson was, she'd be like, "Who? What?
Who?
Like,
Yeah,
who's
who's
that
Ted
guy?"
Danson? Well, if they watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, he's on there, but I don't know if young
Yeah.
people watch that show. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
A lot of old people on that
Probably
show.
not. Probably not. I'm sure if I mentioned that show too, she'd be like, "What?" Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Unless it's a Korean drama.
Oh, really? They like Korean
Yeah.
dramas? That's interesting.
At least my kid, she's, like, all about the Korean dramas. There's something about
Huh.
them that she's just like, "I love
And
this."
K-pop and everything too?
She doesn't like the K-pop, but something about the Korean dramas, she's just
Really?
I think
I don't know that
I
I've
think
ever
because
watched
they're
one.
so over the top, they're kinda
Hmm.
like, the old school, Bollywood movies where it's just,
Oh,
like,
okay.
high
And they all
drama,
break out into
you know?
song? Okay. I thought you were gonna say it's like
Yeah, so it's
Telemundo back in
like
the '80s or something.
kinda, yeah, like, I think they're kind of her version of, like General Hospital, like Days of
Oh,
Our
okay, the
Lives
old
type of
soap
soap opera
operas.
type
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kinda her
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I'm like,
Hmm.
"Alright, you do you." Like,
Yeah,
that's
well, no, it's great.
what our
You can
Netflix is for, I guess.
get your worldview. You don't have to be so hemmed in by the borders of the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. You can go all the way to Korea, it's fine.
Korea, yeah.
But
Hopefully
there
not
you
too
go.
far north, but that's okay.
Yeah, more southern, but,
We're south, yeah.
go south.
Keep it below the DMZ and it's all good.
Exactly. So, do you have any advice? This is the last question. Do you have any advice for
Oh, that's
people
okay.
who are looking to podcast kind of for the long haul? Because we kind of addressed,
Mhm.
your pandemic podcasters that kind of started it.
Right, yeah.
And then once things opened up again, they just kind of fell off. Like they're like, I don't have any time for this anymore, or
Right.
I got what I wanted out of it. So if people are
Mhm.
looking for more longevity, what sort
I
of
got I got my resume fodder, yeah.
yeah.
The, uh well, I think first of all, it's gotta be fun, number
Yep.
1, because we're, we're in the numbers now where, it's everybody's not gonna be popular, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be
Yeah.
doing this for the love of doing it.
Hmm.
It's gonna be more hobby like, rather than being, more than I mean, it could be more than that. I'm not downplaying that somebody could be, the breakout person or whatever. You never know,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
But I think that you at least initially have to approach it to say this has to be fun for me or fun for my group or however you're doing this. And then, try to be consistent. That's one of the big things is I joked earlier, I'm like, I'm lazy. That's why it's on Wednesday. But
Yeah.
the Wednesday becomes the consistency, right? So I kind of force myself to make sure it's out every Wednesday. Miles doesn't do anything, by the way. He just shows up and talks. Somebody's got to, do things and make things happen and work on websites and all that kind of stuff. And so
Yep.
you have to have some kind of consistency and discipline. And so it doesn't matter, I don't think, what it is. I mean, you could be, pick your interval, right? And you can change your
Yeah.
mind. But
Hmm.
once you pick something, go with it consistently until you pick something else. And hopefully don't pick something different every week or something, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have some kind of consistency to it. And then then what I think everybody kind of forgets is a big part of it is marketing. I mean, sometimes
Yes.
marketing can be a bigger part of it than the actual creation. And so,
Yes.
if you want to be out there and be seen or recognized in any kind of way, you got to market, and so you got to constantly think about that kind of stuff. So, kind of pick your poison, as it were. If you just want to do the show every
Yeah.
week, there's ample opportunities for you to do that. And then
Hmm.
you make your decisions along the way. I think for us, we've been doing it for so long. I've ebbed and flowed through all kinds of different stages on that because sometimes we just do the show. I mean, there've been years we just did the show,
Hmm.
and there wasn't much effort in other directions just because of life. But the
Yep.
thing was, we still wanted to do the show, so we did, but we didn't always do much more than that. And now it seems like we're on a swing where we want to do more. At least I'm here, so obviously I'm doing more than
Yeah.
just doing our show. So that's obvious. That I think that's kind of the thing. So that would be my advice would be, keep it realistic. And the other thing is, and this is the cheapskate in me that comes out. I'm like, don't spend all your
Sure.
money on everything. There's
Yeah.
now at this point, to be honest with you, if you could make something to make people, if you could make a program, a website, or something that makes podcasting easier, you're going to make way more money than you are doing a podcast
That's true.
because
Yeah.
the support of podcasts is a, almost a bigger industry than the podcast
Hmm.
because there's so many people, right? So
Yep.
I've heard numbers from 2 million to 5 million
Yeah.
podcasts, right? And so, hey, you get $1 from every podcast. That's $5 million. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
that is becomes an industry, and there are lots of things that you can do. But just keep it all in perspective and do what you like, but don't I'll sound like a parent now. We're not going to start. We're not going to go out for basketball if we're not going to play in the games. Do the practices. You guys stick around for the season. Everybody's counting on you.
Oh my
So,
God. I say that too.
so I mean, you
Yeah.
got to give it some time. You can't just go. I put one podcast episode out and nobody listened, and I'm just going to quit. So
Yeah.
set some goals, meet your goals, and be consistent. Wow, that
Yeah.
was the quick version. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's I agree with all of it because it's one of those things where, and say you do it consistently and you get to a point where you're like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. Don't force it
Mhm,
because
mhm,
the listeners can tell if you aren't enjoying it. Like it comes
mhm.
across in how
Well, yeah.
you talk and like your tone and stuff. If you're not feeling it, then
Mhm,
then why are you doing it? And it's one of those things where if you really like it, you'll make the time for it. Because obviously it is a time consuming thing, especially if you're, like you said, marketing and you're updating a website and you're doing social media and not to
mhm,
mention like editing and producing the podcast itself. So,
mhm,
and I feel like that's one of the things that people don't take into consideration when they start a podcast is that
mhm,
it isn't just talking into the ether and hoping that someone listens. There's a lot more on the back end that's involved in creating something. And that's not even factoring in like if you're doing like a radio drama type podcast where you have music and all that, or if it's, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like it kind of depends on what you're doing. But at the same
Sure.
time, they all take time. So
Right. Yeah. Do research. You do, yeah, like you do research on these things, and you got to come up with these stories from somewhere. I mean,
yeah,
you're not just making them up.
no. So yeah, it kind of, I wish I was that creative. But, it's, if you're going to do it, just know that it is going to take a considerable amount of time
Yeah.
depending on what type of podcast you're gonna do, and then you have to ask yourself, "Is that something I wanna do every week or every 2 weeks?" Whatever your release schedule is gonna be like, that you
Mhm.
reasonably will keep consistent. So
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's fantastic advice. Thank you.
No, thank you. So so that's all my questions. Would you like to try and crack some cramp words?
Yes, I
Okay.
think. I think I'm gonna do horrible at this, but I'm gonna give it a good try here. I'm committed.
Give it the old college try. Don't quit on me
I'm
now.
yeah.
I
Wait a
need you
minute.
to play the game.
No, I think I ran out of time. No, I'll try.
You've
I'll try.
committed.
I've committed. I told you I would be here. I'll talk and be here and
Uh,
try.
so your first term is to show the white feather.
Oh boy, show the white feather. Hmm. Is there any other colored feathers that are involved in this? Can I ask questions or no?
You can ask questions, just the
But
white
you're not
feather.
going to give me any answers.
I'm
Wait,
not
is
gonna
there a blue
directly tell
feather?
you, but
Is there a
just the
blue
white one.
feather? Is there a green feather? Or just the white feather?
Mm-mm. Just the
See
white
that
one.
I think that the first thing that jumps into my head would be some type of surrender, right? Because you hold the white flag for surrendering. So I would think that you're showing the white feather that you're probably, giving up, which is probably what I should have did before we got to this stage. I should have showed the white feather, but I didn't. And it may not even mean that. Now you'll probably say something terrible, and I'll be like, "Oh, geez, I shouldn't have used that in a sentence."
You actually are 100% correct. It is
Oh,
to
really?
surrender
Good
or
guess.
to act in a cowardly manner.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to use this. I'll have to use this against Miles because he shows the white
There you
feather a lot. If you ask me, that guy's
surrender.
basically covered in them.
So I find these on like slang dictionaries. So according to Green's Dictionary of Slang, that specific term was first introduced in 1815, and it kind of came about because at that time, they did like cockfighting, not that I'm like supporting that sport, but that was a big deal.
I would
And
hope not.
so
I would hope there's
I
no
don't
support
support
for
that,
that.
but because it was such a big deal, people would pay a lot of attention to like the breeding of these specific birds.
Mhm.
And apparently, having a white feather in the game bird's tail was a mark of inferior breeding.
Oh, so you want the plumage to be varied in its color as opposed to being just white.
Yeah.
Like I think of a rooster has a big long, tail. The tail feathers are really long there, so yeah, I
Mhm.
could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. So you definitely would not want to enter a bird that has any sort of white feathers, because then people would be
What?
like, What are you doing?
Yeah,
You're just
what is that?
inbreeding. You're just inbreeding your birds. Don't do that."
What if it's yellow? Because they have yellow belly is a thing. Is yellow
Yeah.
feathers something different? I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
when yellow-bellied became a term for cowardly as well.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that was in the 1900s. They were like, we need to vary our colors."
That probably was back in the medieval times when people were like all, they'd get blocked bile ducts and they'd get jaundiced and they'd be like, "Oh, you're yellow belly." They
You
have
got
no idea.
dysentery.
Yeah, and they're like, he's just cowardly." "No,
He's
I'm
just
not.
yeah. I'm actually dying.
I'm actually" that's right. "I think
Whatever. You're just yellow-bellied.
there's something
I got
stuck in there."
jaundice.
That's right.
Alright. Your second term is
Mhm.
bun strangler.
Bun strangler.
Mhm. And it's not a sexual term. I'll just tell you that right up front. Because sometimes these
Just
are sexual
killed
terms.
killed my no, I actually wasn't thinking that at all. I was thinking about a baker. I'm like, is a bun strangler like some kinda, weird person that works at the bakery and they, like, get angry because they don't wanna work there or something? No, I would say it sounds to me like it would be, and I'm only because I'm thinking of hair, that maybe it's
Sure.
some type of thing that people would wear in their hair to make it stay in a shape of some kind, like a bun.
Oh, yeah, that's a good guess.
It would be like the hair clip of the 1100s or something. It's called a bun strangler.
Oh, yeah, 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 or like the weird hair extensions that they got now where you can
Scrunchies or something. Oh, yeah, yeah, the poofy hair or whatever, yeah.
the scrunchies of the
And the
1800s.
scrunchies, yeah, scrunchy. "Oh, hast thou seen my bun strangler? I thought it was on my wrist. I've
I
dropped
can't
it.
let Gerald see me without my bun strangler.
My bun
Whatever will he
strangler's
think of me?
askew. Oh, oh my."
Well, that
No, I guess I'm
is
I'm
not
wrong. You're telling me I'm
you're
wrong?
wrong.
I think you
Yeah.
threw me off the trail when you said it wasn't sexual, so
Sorry, I just got it in your head, and you're like, "Whoa."
yeah.
So, a bun strangler is someone who doesn't drink.
Seriously, I would have
Yeah.
never never gotten that out of bun strangler. Does not strike me as like a teetotaler. The same thing then.
Yeah, so I don't know if that what does that mean? Like, do they just excessively eat bread instead of drinking, like, when
It's
they're out
it's
with
like
their friends?
when you're nursing a drink, right? So maybe they,
Yep.
instead of nursing a drink, they sit there and mash a bun because they're so, I can't drink, so I'm just gonna
Can't
squeeze.
do it.
It's kind of like one of those squeeze balls. You get those stupid things with conferences. They
Stress
give you all those
balls.
stress ball. Yeah, it's just like that. It's just squeezing the bun. Strangling the bun, sitting there. And what
Like,
era was this? What that it came about?
1865 is when this one
Yeah, I
came
bet
out.
that's it. I bet that's the stress ball of 1865 was the bun. People were just,
Yeah,
yeah, squeezing the bun while they're sitting around.
just
I've got everybody else is drunk. I got nothing to do. Sit here, squeeze this bun.
no one's gonna judge me for strangling this bun. Everybody's
That's
wasted.
right. That's right. Everybody's wasted. They'll be like, "Oh, are you a bun strangler?"
They
Why,
just get
yes.
that's how breadsticks came about because they were strangling the
Oh,
bread
yeah,
dough
there
so
you
much
go.
that
They
there you
unknotted
go.
the pretzel. Yeah, there you go. The bun. They straightened the bun. And they're like,
By
"No, would you
strangling the life out
like
of
a
it.
bite of my bun?" It's like, "That's no bun, that's a breadstick.
"What's a breadstick? I literally just made this.
I just made it." "Oh, you've been strangling that, it looks like. Oh."
Just drink your gin, Jeremy. It's fine."
That's that's my impersonation of a drunk 1850s person or whatever you said. "Oh."
"The bread has a new shape. How did
That's
you do
right. "I was called you a bun reshaper. No, wait, a bun strangler."
It looks like if this bun were to have a neck that you were just squeezing right there.
It's
Strangler.
as if you're strangling the bun. You are one sick fool."
You're no longer invited out on party nights. Get out
It's
of
like,
here.
I think that's where the balloon animal person got their start.
There you
right?
go.
So before they were bun stranglers, and then whenever balloons, came into being, which had to be after 1850. I don't know when.
Yeah. Who
Then they
knows?
could, make dogs and hats and swords and things.
Yeah, bread isn't as malleable into making shapes.
Yeah.
It's
Today we call them balloon stranglers. People who don't drink.
they're just sitting in the corner making, like,
Yeah.
unicorns and, like
2024 balloon strangler. Put that where you have editing rights to the Urban Dictionary. Put that in there.
I will. I'll add that
Yeah,
as a
add
term.
that. I'm sure you got some ends somewhere. You can get that on.
Yeah. I'll tell my kid to put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, balloon
Riz
strangler.
what? Balloon strangler. That's the new term.
It's a new term. That's the new term for people who don't partake of the legal cannabis. A balloon
There you
strangler.
go. Balloon strangler.
Yeah,
Because they gotta get high on the helium instead.
that's right.
There we go. We just made it. Trademark.
Balloon strangler.
No one steal
Exactly.
that.
Whip it.
The whippets. Whippets for the kids.
That's right.
Well, I would like to thank Bob for joining me today for Can You Crack the Cramp Word? And before we go, can you please tell our listeners where they could find you on social media if they wanted to engage with you?
If they want to talk, if they need a bun strangler for their next party, they can find me at Static Radio on most of the social media, except for a choice few where I didn't get in there fast enough. And then it's some kind of variant, but almost all of the major ones, which I don't even know what they are, major ones. Whatever you think the major one is, that's what it is at Static Radio.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, on that note, as always, I'm Lindsay, and I'll see you next time with another tale as old as crime.